Welcome. Thanks for joining us. This is episode 3 of our new bi-weekly webinar series aimed at helping you grow your print business using today's best marketing tactics. I'm Rachel Neese. I'm the content marketing manager here at Marketing Ideas for Printers. And today we're going to look at customer retention, how you can get your customers coming back for more. Before we get started, there's just a couple of announcements I wanted to go over with you. First, this is the Sell More Printing webinar. This webinar happens every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. We try to keep it under that 30-minute mark to be respectful of your time. And then on alternate Wednesdays, we also have the This Week in Odyssey webinar series happening. Those also happen at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And that webinar is focused mostly on release notes, feature updates, bug fixes, anything and everything you would want to know about Odyssey, our print MIS solution. So whether you're a current subscriber or you're just curious about that software, I encourage you to sign up for that webinar as well. If you keep an eye out on your email, you'll see registration links for both of those webinars coming to you about every 2 weeks or so, just to kind of let you know what's happening with that. Most importantly, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so I want to make sure that we take the time out to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and just let you know how much we appreciate you. I know I am dreaming of pumpkin pie and spending time with my family, and I really hope that you guys have an awesome weekend and Thanksgiving holiday as well. So let's get started. Today we're going to look at customer retention. We're going to look at where to spend your marketing time and money, and then 3 tips on how to boost your customer retention effectiveness. So first things first, let's look at where to put your marketing efforts. It's very common for anybody to want to always be focused on, I have to get new customers, I have to get new customers. But a lot of times what they're missing is the gold mine of having your existing customers and tapping into that. So looking at the difference between existing customers versus new customers, one of my favorite quotes is, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver, the other gold. The same is true with your current customers. Focusing on existing customers really is your gold. Take a look at this quote to see what I mean. According to eMarketer, it costs 10 times more to acquire new customers than to sell to the ones you already have. 10 times more is a pretty big number, and I can't really afford to pay 10 times the amount on anything, so I want to make sure I'm spending my time and money where it's going to be most effective. Obviously, the main idea here with customer retention is to increase revenue. All of our marketing efforts we want to put to fill our sales funnel and ultimately increase our revenue. And when you market to existing customers, you're putting your marketing efforts to things that are more affordable, more profitable, and ultimately are going to give you a better return. Here's what I mean by better return. Based on data from Bain & Company, a 5% increase in retention yields between a 25 to 95% increase in profits. When you hear quotes and things like that, it just makes sense that marketing to existing customers needs to be a part of your overall marketing strategy. So how do you do that? How do you boost customer retention? How do you focus on that? Here are 3 tips for you to consider for you to boost customer retention. The first one we're going to look at is cross-selling and upselling. Then we're going to speak briefly about practicing reciprocity, and then finally making yourself sticky and ways you can do that. So first things first, let's look at this one, cross-selling. What is cross-selling? Cross-selling is basically the idea of what additions can you provide to what they have already purchased. A great example of this is McDonald's. How many times have you heard that? Do you want fries with that? That's a classic cross-selling example. Well, for you as a printer, how do you take that cross-selling and put it in your own order process? Well, adding, do you need business cards with your letterhead, or would you like to add custom envelope seals to your envelope order? Those types of things will help you with cross-selling. A good example of this is I live about 30 minutes from where I grocery shop, so I frequently will order online ahead of time, and then I'll pick up my order the next time that I'm in town. One of the things I love about the grocery store that I shop with online when I get to my shopping cart. At the end, they have two little things. One says before you go, and the other one says did you forget? And it's just this scrolly bar of things that are associated with my order that I might have forgotten or that would complement what's already in my cart. I can't tell you, I would say 99% of the time I'll scroll through that scrolly bar and be like, oh yeah, I forgot to get that. Or yeah, that would be a good addition, and add things into my cart. And that's an excellent example of cross-selling. Can you do that with your website? Well, for example, I've seen a couple of our printers use this technique with their newsletter, like maybe when they're ordering printing, at the bottom of their order form, they'll also have a little box that says like, yes, add me to your newsletter or whatever. Other ways that they do that is, do you need complimentary items with this? Do you need letterhead with your business cards? But play around with that and see what kind of ways you can customize those order forms to, really capitalize on this cross-selling idea. Paired right along with cross-selling is upselling. Upselling is basically this idea, can they upgrade their existing order in any way? Staying with that fast food example, do you want to upgrade to a small blizzard for $1 more? So I have to do a shout out to Dairy Queen, since I currently have 2 teenagers in my house that are working at Dairy Queen. And yes, I realize that that picture there is not of a blizzard, but I think that picture just makes me happy, so that's why I picked it. But that same idea here with upselling. Would you like to upgrade to 1,000 business cards for X amount more? Printers commonly will put 3 quantities in an estimate and those types of things. Well, can you do that with your order form as well? Can you add things like, can you upgrade, do you want to upgrade to this much more? Do you want us to fold those flyers for you for an additional, X amount of money? So kind of pairing those cross-selling and upselling techniques can really help to boost your customer retention. Secondly is this idea of practicing reciprocity. Reciprocity is basically the idea of you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. I'll kind of tell you how it works a little bit. Here's the formal definition. So the rule of reciprocity firmly states that we are all bound, even driven, to repay debts of all kinds. Someone does something for you, then you feel obligated to repay. It's an almost automatic reaction. A good example of this rule of reciprocity is we're right around the holiday season, and more than likely you are looking at, sending out Christmas cards. What happens when you send out Christmas cards? A lot of times you'll hear questions like, did we send a Christmas card to the Joneses last year? And if your spouse goes, no, I don't think we did, well, then you can cross them off your list because you don't feel obligated to return, sending a Christmas card in return. But if the Joneses sent you a Christmas card, well, there's just that automatic gut reaction of, well, they sent me something, so I need to send something in return. That's the idea of reciprocity. You give, they receive, and then the cycle ends. Well, in marketing, and when you're trying to boost your customer retention, you can kind of practice that reciprocity by making that cycle continue on. So you give, they receive, but it doesn't end because you give again, and that's going to put the ball back in their court and make them feel like they need to give back to you. So let's look at that for a second. So for example, if you can start that cycle again, let's say you put a coupon or a small extra in with their order. Well, oh, they weren't expecting that. You put in free samples. Those, just some of those things that will trigger that subconscious, oh, I should return the favor. Okay, you can do that with free extras. You can do that with trials and demos. You can even do that with blogging. With blogging, for example, it's a simple idea of you're giving me information that is free, that is helpful to me, and in return, I want to, give to you my money to purchase your services, or however you want to look at that. We're going to look at that trials and demos thing a little bit later when we talk about making yourself sticky. But the idea here is let's say you're setting up a demo of a private label website. Well, if you go through the work to create that demo for them, or you create an online account for them and show them, hey, here's where you can have all your orders in one spot, and you just click here. If you go through that work of putting those demos together, you're creating that idea and that feeling of indebtedness that then they want to return to you. And that's kind of what we're looking at with practicing reciprocity. If you want more information on this idea of practicing reciprocity and how you can make it work for you, check out the book Persuasion, A Revolutionary Way to Influence and Persuade. And we recently touched on this in a blog post called Selling for Printers, Tips to Make the Sales Connection. If you check out our blog at mi4p.com/blog, and then in the search box there, just put Selling for Printers, this will pop up for you and give you some more information on that. Next, making yourself sticky. So, why do your print buyers choose you? What keeps them coming back? It's important to make a list of what you do well that your customers are talking about. You want to explore your best sources of growth and then see how you can capitalize on that growth by making yourself sticky. Here's an example. You want to look to optimize your customer's experience. Couple of ways. First, work to make it the same experience for your customers both online and in person. I'm just going to sidetrack just a little bit with this, but our printers, or printers in general, are excellent. I mean, they are phenomenal about making the in-person experience for their customers amazing. Kudos to you guys. You get that right. You guys talk about, friends and family. You've built relationships with these printers and really worked hard to make that a good experience when they walk into your print shop or call you on the phone or email you, etc. But you want to work hard to make sure that your customers are experiencing that same experience, that same feeling when they are on your website. So look for ways to optimize that customer experience, making it friendly, making that connection, building those relationships online as well as in person. Next, focus your efforts on making it stupid simple to order printing from you. Stupid simple is not my words. Those are from Donald Miller, Building a Story Brand, that I mentioned in our last webinar. One of the things Donald Miller also says is, so simple a caveman could do it. When your customers and prospects get on your website and they look to order printing from you or send you a message, is it stupid simple? Have someone who's a good friend who will shoot you straight, go through ordering printing with you. Have them go to your website, have them go through the process, see where they get hung up on things, where they get frustrated, where they're confused. Make a note of that and then work to fix those areas so that you can optimize their experience and ultimately make them want to return to you and make yourself sticky. One of the best ways to make yourself sticky is to focus on the all-powerful reorder. The reorder is kind of like, the great and powerful Oz behind the curtain of customer retention. This is what you want to focus on to make sure those customers are coming back. How do you do that? You're going to do that through things like private label websites. Those are called so many different things. They're called white label websites, customer portals, storefronts, those types of things. Online customer accounts, reorder forms library. Those are things that you can do to help boost that reorder, easiness for your customers, that they're going to want to come back and do that. Taking the time to set up a demo for a private label website and go to another business and say, hey, look how easy this is. You have all of these branches and you can have this, private portal that has your branding, but it's ultimately a secret connection to our print shop to make custom, ordering as simple and easy as possible for you. Those types of things are going to be appreciative, and they're going to appreciate you for years to come for you setting up and doing that effort. If you don't want to be super tech and want to focus on, just printing what you do best, make sure you're capitalizing on things like reorder reminders. Take the time to design a reorder reminder for pretty much every product that you create. Business cards, flyers, whatever. Then when they're partly through that box, they're going to see that reorder reminder. Hey, looks like you're running low on business cards. Reach out to us at blah, blah, blah to, reorder these. Just taking some simple steps like that for making that reorder easy is really going to help boost your retention. Same thing with referral programs. I just wanted to throw that one in there for you to keep in mind, word of mouth marketing, those types of things. Those are also going to boost your customer retention. Talking a little bit more about that private label websites or online portals or storefronts, those types of things. We are currently working on a piece of content regarding private label websites, and I was just amazed at some of the customer retention quotes that I received just in this process that I wanted to share with you that fit along really well with this make yourself sticky. So here's a couple of them. 90% of the sites I set up and demo for customers are kept longer than 10 years. It really seals the relationship. The next one, I went from 12 online orders a month 10 years ago to averaging 180 to 240 orders a month from our storefronts. That's huge. I mean, just imagine what that increase in profit is right there. I get orders 24/7, plus I get paid right away before the order is even printed. It has a huge ROI. And lastly, my best strategy for selling printing has been to make it as easy and convenient as possible with pricing, ordering, and design capabilities right at their fingertips. That last quote there is really what it's all about. You're making it easy and convenient. You're putting those things like pricing on your website, ordering capabilities, design capabilities. It's not uncommon to be called here at Marketing Ideas for Printers and say, they're to my website, but they don't do anything. Well, upon further investigation, there's no way for them to do anything. You don't have, e-commerce set up. You don't have pricing on your website. You don't have a way for me to design anything. So in order for that to work, you really have to give your customers the opportunity to do what they want to do on your website. Otherwise, they're going to go to someplace that can do those things. One other thing, or the last thing I just wanted to mention is if you only remember one thing about customer retention, we just said it, make it easy. The last thing I wanted to mention was just with that grocery shopping example I gave you earlier. I also order online from Sam's Club, and I will go there every month. And every year, we also have a Costco here, and every year I think I'm going to cancel my Sam's membership and I'm going to switch over to Costco. And every year I don't. And why is that? Well, because it's easy to order through Sam's Club. They have all of my reorder information. I can build my order from, frequently ordered items, and it's easy. And that's why I stick with Sam's. So the same idea applies here for printing for your customers. If you make it easy for your customers, you are going to see that customer retention boost and have those customers coming back over and over and over again. Well, that's all I have for you this week. Thanks for joining us for tips to help you sell more printing. Our next webinar will be Wednesday, December 5th at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you have any questions or comments about customer retention, feel free to reach us. You can call us directly at 701-241-9204 or feel free to email me. You can email me at rachel.neese@mi4p.com. Thanks again for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving.